has started. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss today about programming tools, Bash. So you have, in this course, we saw the theory of abstract data types and data structures. And we also saw how to implement them in Python, right? So, but when you are working on practical problems, it's not just doing the programming on Python or C, C++, but you have to do the whole pipeline, end-to-end pipeline, which means it may involve several steps like manipulating some files or fetching some files, processing some files, and then when the files are prepared, then you can run your script, the Python script, which will basically do the job, whatever you want to do. You want to extract some information or etc., etc. And then finally, you will be, the Python scripts will be giving some output. Then you may again want to do something with the output. So there are so many steps involved. It's not just Python. So, and also, so this bash scripting is something which we would like to discuss today. In this, we will be doing, we will be seeing a platform, essentially a platform which is very efficient for handling large data. Let's say you have lots and lots of data. Maybe you're working in signal processing, you have signal data, you are working in, let's say, some other kind of, let's say, maybe VLSI or something where you have lots of other kinds of data. So you have to handle lots of data. So, but bash scripting is very efficient in handling your files, etc. So what is essentially bash script? It's these are essentially Linux commands. You can use a Linux system. Similar things also exist in Windows, but mostly Linux is the popular choice in academia as well as industry. Yeah, there are people who use Windows, but for programming, Linux is, I prefer more, maybe. Yeah, but also I've seen that people use Linux more widely than Windows. And this is my opinion, but this bash scripts, bash basically provides you with many commands which you can use in Linux. So what are these essentially? These are, the bash script is a kind of programming language, or not a programming language, it's called a scripting language. It means it is, you prepare a file with an extension .sh, and this file lists all the commands which you will be running. And when you run this file by simply saying bash filename.sh, bash space file name, it will run all those commands sequentially, right? And these commands are essentially very quick functions for handling large data and etc. You can organize them in folders, etc. It is generally used for processing files or scheduling the execution of scripts. You can run Python scripts in an order. Let's say you have to run 5 Python scripts. How will you run them sequentially one by one? So within one click. So, but using bash script, with one click, you can run all of them one by one. Means automatically first command will be run, first Python script will be run, then second, third, etc. So in order, and run a sequence of bash commands. You can also run sequence of bash commands, and you can split a directory or a file into, you want to split a directory into multiple files or multiple directories, or you want to split one file into multiple files. These are very efficient commands. Or search a keyword in files, etc. We will look at some of these things in today's lecture. But most essentially, this lecture is like an introduction to this platform, which will be very useful to you. And practically in industry and in big data research, it's very rampantly used, very widely used. So you would like, I hope you will make some good use of it. Let's start with some basic Linux commands like cd, ls, cp, rsync, man. Okay, these are, I think many of these commands are already familiar to you. You're already familiar with them. Let me open a terminal. Let me share my terminal with you. This is a terminal. So what is this? This is basically a Linux terminal. I hope you all know about this. Is the font size sufficient? Is the font size sufficient, or should I increase the font size?
A little bigger would be better, sir.
This much?
Yes, sir. This is good enough, I think.
Okay. So the first command I would like to introduce is cd. Cd means basically, let's say I want to change my directory. If I do cd double dot, I go to, you see the directory here. I was in tmp temp directory. Now when I do cd double dot, it goes one step back or to the parent folder. It's like a tree, right? Your directory structure is like a tree. This is your root node. The tilde is your root node. If I say cd tilde, it goes to the root node, right? But if I say cd, then this whole address, it goes to this. Oops. Oh, because of this. It does not recognize space bars. What's happening? Yeah, sorry. By pressing tab, you can complete. Okay, so I'm in this directory now. All right. Oh, I missed this slash. That's why it gave an error. Okay, so this is what we have done, cd and then ls. I want to see what all files are present in this directory. It will list all the files, right? And then copy. I want to copy one file from one folder to some other folder. I will use the command copy. Now, let's say I don't know the syntax of copy. I can say copy file.txt to file2.txt in the same folder, let's say. Then I do ls, you will see there are two files created now. So copy is basically to copy. rsync, this is a very interesting command. rsync is a command which will copy, but it will not copy all the contents. It will see the differences, and whatever are the differences, it will only copy that, so that this saves your data transfer. Let's say you have very huge, two files are very large, and let's say they are exactly same files. Now you make some changes in one of these files, like very small number of changes. Then you're copying this big file. If you want to copy to the other file, if you use CP, then every entire content will be copied, and it will be a costly operation in terms of computation and data transfer. But if you use rsync, it will do it iteratively. It will see whatever are the changes. It will only copy those contents. Actually, not inside a file, but maybe let's say you have huge folders, and one folder has, let's say, 1,000 files, another folder has 1,000 files. Now, when I copy the folder from this to this, it will automatically see the changes, and only the changes will be copied, so that you save on the data transfer, etc. So it gives you this advantage. And then in case you want to, if let's say you don't remember the syntax of a command, simply use man rsync. It will open the manual for the command. What is it? It is basically rsync is a faster and flexible replacement for copy. And you give rsync, you give the source folder name, then the destination folder name, or source file name, destination file name, whatever. And there are some options which are possible here. You can, let's say, you can say rsync, or like you see -av. So -a, after minus, whatever you push, whatever you put, it has a meaning. Let's say a means maybe something. You have to check here. What is the meaning of a? So A means archive, R means recursive. Recursive means if you want to copy all the files inside that directory. So you say -R, this will recursively, basically the whole tree is copied, not just one node, but the entire tree is copied, like deep copy, right? I hope you remember from our data structure discussion. Deep copy or copy the entire tree, not just one node. Similarly, you have got like all these options are there. So anyways, this is just an introduction that this is how you can use any command in your, when you press Q, then you come out. Okay. Any questions until now?
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I am able to run these commands in Windows PowerShell. So Windows has introduced recently a new command prompt, Windows PowerShell.
Okay.
So can I implement these commands in this and practice?
Yeah, I don't know, but if it allows, then definitely. Like Windows is based on DOS.
Yes,
DOS
sir.
means disk operating system. They have different kind of commands. Linux has different kind of commands. For example, for listing all the files in a directory, Windows uses dir, whereas Linux uses ls. The functions may be very similar, but the commands are different in Windows as well as Linux. Now, I'm not sure about Windows PowerShell if that has exactly same commands as Linux.
Yeah, sir, one of my friend has told that we can implement Linux commands in Windows PowerShell. So I have just used cd and ls. So it is performing same operations which you have discussed just now.
Okay, great. So thank you. I think this is then useful for those who are using Windows systems.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so basically these are the commands which are very common. Even somebody who does not know about bash scripting, even they will know these commands. They are so frequently used by people. Let's say you are working on some cloud server. You have some data on your local computer and you have some data on your cloud server. And let's say you want to push some data from local to the cloud so that you can do maybe something heavy operations there in the server. So what you do, you will use rsync. You can rsync your data from here to there. It will very efficiently transfer your data in a very less time eventually. So these commands are very useful. Okay. Now let's see, how do we define variables in. So if there is any okay, let me tell one more thing. I think immediately this is okay. You can see my terminal now. Let me create a script. Let's say I say I'm using Nano. It's a very simple text editor. You can use any text editor. Nano. I create a new file called some myscript.sh. So what it has done is it has created a bash script for me. I can type commands here. Let's say ls, then I can print something, echo. Okay. And then I save it. Okay. Now if I do ls, I can see my script is there. Now I can run this by using bash myscript.sh. You can see first it runs the command ls. So it lists all the files present here, just like it did here. And then it will print hello. So instead of print, just like we have print in Python, bash scripting has got echo. When you say echo, when you say echo, it prints the it prints the string or number, whatever is there. So this is the concept of a script, that you can put all these commands inside a file, and when you run that file using bash command, it will run all those commands one by one. Okay, this is a very interesting concept, because this means, let's say you are running your Python scripts, multiple Python scripts. Just write them in the bash script and run it overnight, and next day morning when you come back to your lab, you can see all those commands have executed and it's there. For example, let's say you are running some very long operations, some program which takes maybe few hours to finish, and you have to run 5 of those. This means that whole night you have to stay there, because when first code will be over after 1.5 hours, then you have to run the second command, that will take 2 hours, then third command. So all these things can be automated in this script, bash script. Automatically, basically, it will run one by one all those commands. Okay, let's go to the next. So now, many times you may want to define some variables. For example, you may want to say, let's say in this command, cd, you want to cd in some variable. You want to save this in a variable, and you want to reuse this variable multiple times, let's say. So you can save this string in this variable. This is how you define a variable. Just say the variable name, put an equal sign or the assignment operator, and then write the string. But mind that don't put any space in between. If you put any space, it will not work. Space is considered valid character, so don't put space. In Python, it doesn't matter. You can put multiple space. It doesn't affect your program. But here, space is also affecting your program. So don't put space. So in this way, you save the string in a variable, and then you can use that variable for anything by putting a $sign. So to access your variable content, you have to use a $sign to say that this is a variable, and open it up and use the value of this variable. Don't use mydir, but use the value of mydir, the value stored in the variable mydir. Similarly, you want to print the value of a variable, you can say echo the variable name. It will print 1. Let's say a was 1, echo a will give 1. And I can also say $ and then curly braces, then the variable name. That is also the same thing. So this is the concept of variables in shell scripts. Then there are commands for files. For example, I want to create a new file. I can create a new file by saying touch file name. Let's say I want to create a new file with the name, what should be my new script or my script 2. Okay, otherwise some file 3.txt. Right, so when I do ls, I will see now file 2, file 3, all are there. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, just a minute. I think I should use this. Okay, now I think it should be faster. Okay, I don't need to switch from there. Okay, so touch, so I just use the touch command, touch file 3.txt. It creates an empty file, file 3.txt. Okay, now let's see, I want to see the contents of a file. So cat command will print the contents of the file. Let's say I say cat file.txt. It will print the contents of file.txt. I want to say cat file 3.txt. It will print the contents, which is empty. This is an empty file. Right? Now, next command is head. Let's say now this file.txt has got 4 entries. I want to see only the first 2 entries. I can say head -n2. and the file name, file.txt. So it prints only the top two entries. Right. Similarly, you can use tail. Tail will print the bottom entries. You can mention here, let's say tail minus n1. So it will print just the last entry in the file. This is EFG, right? The last entry only it will print. So head and tail are used. Now, if you want to write something to the file, you can either use nano. You can say nano. Nano is a very lightweight text editor inside Linux, but you can use any other text editor also, no problem. I am using nano just for nano file.txt. This is the content of the file. I can make more, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then if I press Ctrl X, it says you want to save. Yes, I want to save it. Now you say cat file.txt, it will print the entire file. Right. And when I say head minus n2 of file.txt, to print the first two lines. And when I say minus tail minus n4 of, I can miss the space after minus n. I can skip. I can directly write the number. That also works. These things come by practice, so I don't need to tell these things. Okay, this is how we can edit the files. Now let's say I want to use the contents. Let's say now if I say cat file3.txt, this file was empty, while cat file.txt, this has got so much content. Let's say I want to put the first 4 entries of file.txt into file3.txt. There is a special what do you say? There is a special command or function called, or it's called directional output. I can direct my output into some other file. Let's say I say here head minus n4 of file.txt. I want to write this output not to the standard out or not on the terminal, but I want to direct it to the, let's say, file 3. Now see, the contents are not printed on the screen, but they have gone to the file3.txt. When I say cat file 3, it will print the content, right? Now let's say I want to add more content to the file without replacing the earlier content. Then I can put double arrows. If I put double arrows, now what will happen is, so if I run it again, it will be same. But if I put double arrows, it will append whatever output of the first command, it gets appended at the bottom in file3.txt. Now you see, it will be twice, like, because this will append. So this is appending. Then, okay, these two functions are a little more, okay, let's use, let me say, okay, now my file 3 is this, right? Let's say I want to find what is the content in file which is not there in file 3. So what I can use is, I can use cat file.txt. Sorry, no. I can use diff file.txt and file3.txt. So what does it show? It says that these are the lines 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which are there in file.txt but not there in file3.txt, right? So in this way, you can compare two files and see what entries are there in one file but not there in the other file. But there is a problem here. The problem is that if I use diff, it will compare sequentially. And if the ordering in the two files is different, let's say the first file has got some content which is in different order, and second file has got some content in the other order, then the diff will be just comparing line by line. It's like edit distance, something like that. But it will not give you the, it will basically be kind of edit distance. So to save that, we would like to sort the files before we use diff. Okay, sort. Okay, I can sort the files. I can say sort file.txt. See, this is how it will return. This is a sorted output. And so now what I can do is, in the diff thing, I can first sort the files and then see the diff. And then it will show me what are things which are there in the first file but not there in the second file, like edit distance. Okay. Now paste is another command which is useful when you want to merge two files in different columns. Let's say okay, let me create a file. I can say, okay, let's say file.txt and file.txt and file3.txt. Okay, I want to, let's say this column, this file has got all the names of the people. This has got the marks, let's say, and you want to merge these two files. So what you can say paste, and the delimiter you want to use is a comma. I want to use a comma, paste with a comma, file1, file.txt and file3.txt. See what has happened. Now it returns contents of file, comma, content of file 3, and the delimiter in between is a comma sign. This is how it returns. And since here there was no entry, so they are just blank here. So you can use paste command to bring together two files and put them together, just like columns in a CSV file. Okay, what is a CSV file? CSV file is a comma separated file. It's like a table, just like Excel sheet, but the values are separated by commas, or the different columns are separated by commas, like this. It's called a CSV file. So what I can do is I can output this content in, let's say, joined.txt, joined.csv. And when I say cat join.csv, it will return this. And if I open this file in Excel sheet, in Excel, what will happen is it will print this column, then this column in the Excel table. Okay, so this was about the paste and diff commands, which are very useful. Now you may want to do some conditional execution. Let's say when I say cat file.txt and echo done. So what will happen here is, if the first command executes without any error, then this command will be executed. But if the first command has some error, then this will not be executed. Whereas here, the OR function, if this command has some error, then only this is executed. But if this command has no error, then this will not be executed, right? So this and this, so first do this. If this is fine, then do this. This or this. If this is fine, then stop here. But if this is not fine, then you do this. So fine means error. It does not return any error. So since this one, it returns an error message. Therefore, the second command is executed. All right. I would like to pause here for a moment to ask you if you have any questions, because I'm going, maybe I'm going a bit fast. Although these things are very, just you know them once and that's it, it's done. It's not very difficult. Yes, please. Do you have any questions?
Sir, there is one more language, TCL. I think using that also we can do these things.
Yeah, definitely. There must be many platforms to do these things, but this is a platform which is very popular in research and industry. Like I have seen this extensively used in research as well as industry, especially in big data research or machine learning. These are very popular, very popular. I don't know about TCL. Is it only for Windows?
Actually, sir, in Centaurus, TCAT, etc., we use TCL to like run anything in loop or something like that.
You can also run loop here.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you can do many things in this bash scripts. I will be coming to those things shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this is how you do conditional execution of your commands. Next is some operations on the text like sorting and search. Sort is used for sorting the file, and grep is used to search the contents. Let's say I don't remember the syntax of grep, but I can see this. Grep, then -f file, and then the keyword. This is the pattern. Okay, and then file. Okay, pattern and file. Okay, got it. So let's say I have cat file.txt. Okay, I want to check, does this file contain ABC? So let me say grep ABC in file.txt. It returns 2. Yeah, it appears twice in this file. So both these times it is printed. There is another command called word count or the line count. I can say WC. It returns me, okay, let's say if I say WC only the line number. So this appears twice. So there are 2 lines in this. Okay. I have not introduced the WC command. WC is to count the number of lines or number of words in that particular file. Let's say I say WC file.txt. So it returns this. It means there are 11 lines in this file. I don't know the meaning of this, you can check. And then 44 means the number of characters. There are 44 characters in this file. But what is very interesting is line number. How many lines are there in this file? So WC minus L, it returns only 11. There are 11 lines in this file. So in this way, you can check the size of your file. So WC is very useful there. Okay. So I have told about grep. I have told about sort. Yeah. Now let's see something called piping. Pipe is a very interesting concept, which is not there generally in Python or something, but this concept is very useful in bash scripting. So basically the output of one command becomes the input to the other. Let's say I want to sort the content, but this content comes, I have used piping here. You can see here, right? This is the pipe. Pipe means basically this line. So what happens is whatever is the output of this command that goes through the pipe to the next command. Instead of writing WC minus L file name, I am directly saying WC minus L, and the input will come from the pipe. So which means whatever was the output of the previous file, previous command, that gets transferred as input to this command. And then the final output is shown here. This is called piping. And it's very interesting concept. You can write very complicated functions very quickly and very efficiently using this pipe. Right? You can, and this piping you can do multiple times also. Let's say I do cat file.txt, and in this I want to find, first of all I want to sort. And then I want to find ABC. And then I want to, let's say, do the word count. This is the minus L, number of lines. There are 2 lines here. So the output of this goes to sorting. Output of sorting comes to this. The ABC is searched. The output of that search goes to this command. Then this command, whatever is the output, it prints on the screen. So piping is a very important concept. Now, generally up till here, generally up till this much is sufficient in our programs. Means you can write shell scripts and all these tools will be sufficient. But in case you want to do further, let's say you want to process multiple files one by one, you can run loops, simple for loop, for I in this, do this, and done. The syntax is a little different from Python, but essentially same concept. Then you can run while loop also. While this is there, do this. You can use if also, if condition, all those conditions are also there. And then you can define functions also. You can say my function this, and then when you say my func, it will basically run this function. Whatever is the content of this function, all those commands will be executed one by one. Right? So these are the things which are very powerful, and you can use them. Yeah. For further reading, you can, the best way is just Google about a command. Let's say you want to see how do I do something, let's say rsync, just Google about it and it will give you the whatever you want to do. Let's say you want to say, how do I read the first 5 lines in a file? Just put it on Google, it may return to you a command using head or something, right? And then you can directly put it in your bash script. There are some other tutorials which are more detailed in these 2 links. You can go through them as well. Okay. Okay. Anybody has any questions now? Okay. If you are wondering what is the star is a wildcard character, which means it will complete this sentence. For example, if I say here ls, now I want to print only those files which start with file. I want to print this, but I don't want to print these. I will say ls file star, which means basically means now after file anything can come. It will print only these 3 files which start with file basically. So this star is a wildcard character. That's why you see here for I in this. Basically, it says that you pick all these. So this command will return, let's say this were file, then it will return file 1, file 2, file 3. Then I will get values file 1, file 2, file 3. It here. So let me try to do it for f in file star. Do, let's say, echo $f, done. See, it prints them, or I want to say, let's say I echo f and then echo a line, maybe then cat $f. So file1.txt is this, then a line, file2.txt is this, then a line, file3.txt, the content is this, then a line. See, in one command you can do so much. It's very fast, very fast. So that's the main advantage of shell scripts. It is so fast. You don't have to write the entire Python function, which can also, you can write Python function also do the same thing, but it won't be in one line. It will be like you write the complete code and it's first import maybe some library like glob or something, and then you will be using that library to implement all these functions. But here this is so simple, just in one sentence you can do the whole thing. Okay, and another thing is that this bash script or Linux commands, they don't worry about indentation. Let's say I may say here for f in file star, then do echo $f cat $f. Oops, I did a mistake actually. This and then what was next? Echo blank blank. Then yeah, same thing. So the indentation is not important in bash scripting, but in Python it is important. Right? Python uses indentation to find their blocks. So if something is inside the for loop, then everything must have same indentation. Okay, yeah. So that's it. Do you have any questions? I think I have explained all the commonly used concepts in bash scripting. Let's write a bash script. Say nano my script.sh. In this I can write here or for file star, sorry, for f in file star, do, what do you do? You can say first echo f cat then echo something, some delimiter, then done. Then I save it and I say Control X, yes, exit. And then when I say bash my script.sh, it basically executes everything one by one sequentially. Okay, so that's it. Do you have any questions? Do you find this useful? I hope you will find this useful in your research work, but let me know if something else is required. Yes? Do you have any questions? There are many more commands, but the way to learn them is just to either do Google search or see some tutorials. Google search is something which I always do. Yes? No questions? If not, then I hope we can stop here.